Hello and welcome to a very interesting space somewhere in the bottom of a building in Sydney. We are here for the Australian pricing reveal of the Zeekr 7X, but they brought us over to have a look at the car, talk about it, and at the end I'll talk about what the pricing in Australia means for New Zealand. So when is this car coming to New Zealand? We're expecting it late this year alongside the Zeekr X and the Zeekr 009 People Mover. Now, who will be selling them? This is still not entirely tied down, but the logical answer would be the Giltrap Group. They have all the other Geely owned brands. This, of course, is a Geely owned brand. And so it's logical that that would go and sit there with that group. Plus, they're very experienced in selling premium luxury cars, which is what this is. But again, another little hint, the pricing isn't necessarily that. Now, I'm here for my own, so what I'm going to do is pick up the camera, go for a bit of a walk around and show you around the Zeekr 7X. Right, so the Zeekr 7X. Now, this has been styled and partially engineered in the Zeekr Technical Centre, which is pretty much where Volvo is in Gothenburg, Sweden. So that work was all done together there. So yeah, a somewhat interesting kind of cross of Chinese and Scandinavian technologies. Now, if we look around at the front here, we have this black plastic light bar that hides the headlights there, LED headlights. Now, in Chinese markets and certain others that have slightly more relaxed lighting rules than Australia, you can get these stargates. So that becomes a screen where you can show all sorts of graphics, you can do music shows, all those kind of things. At this stage, because of ADR, we aren't getting that out of the world, but maybe for New Zealand, they might be getting the rules and bring it to New Zealand, but we will see, I suspect, maybe not. Now, down here, we have an air dam. We do have closing louvers there for aerodynamics and cooling. We have a panel there for the self-driving functions. This car's got a fairly extensive kit of self-driving tech, but we don't have a LiDAR sensor, which the Chinese version that I drove had there. Again, that's because they're just not ready to bring that stuff here for the various stands this end of the world. Now, that is a clamshell bonnet. There is a front out of there, 62 litres in the rear-wheel drive version, about 44, I believe, in the all-wheel drive version, but perhaps with the story there. That still is under the size of the Model Y's front, of course. Now we have these kind of diamond-cut Zeekr wheels down here, black trims around them to make it look more like an SUV. They vary in size. I'll put that up on the screen depending on the model. We have 360-degree cameras all around the car, both for camera purposes and for the driver assistance features. One over there too. Mirrors there. We have poppy outie door handles. Never a fan, but these work well enough. Now, this is the rear-wheel drive models, doesn't have them, but on the all-wheel drive models, you get electric closing front and rear doors. Again, those wheels there. Really nice kind of sleek roof line to this car as well. Very pretty, little bit of a tail here through the back of the window. And then quite a raked over boot in the style. I think that's because the side panel makes that look like an angle, but really there is still a lot of volume there the way the glass bows out. So that is super handy. 7X badging there. Tighten the space to really show the back properly. To open the boot, we have a button there and a fairly decent load space. Now it's about 580 litres. I'll put it up on the screen with the seats in place. This rear tub there for cables. We have more storage here. We do. We've got more storage in the front there. 3 ISOFIX tether points. The subwoofer. Interesting on this rear-wheel drive entry-level version, there is no button to tilt the rear seat from the back, but that is certainly an option. So a good size boot there. Now to the back here with the charging port, that things start to get really crazy with these cars. Now you get a choice of 2 batteries, a 75 kilowatt hour LFP unit, or the golden brick as they call it. And I've seen a video on this, and I might put up something on the screen now, where this battery can take some real abuse, or a 100 kilowatt hour NCM unit for, you know, maximum energy density. They both weigh about the same despite that difference. But the crazy thing is the charging speeds. The entry-level model with that LFP battery theoretically can charge into the over 400 kilowatt range with the right chargers. Now, in New Zealand, Australia, you're going to max out at most charges about 3 to 350 kilowatts. But they're basically saying at a 350 kilowatt hour charger, if you can find one, come on, ChargeNet, come on, others, brings them to New Zealand, that you're going to see this thing capable of charging, in theory, in under 10 minutes. Now, they say basically about 13 to 16 minutes, depending on which model you've got, from 0 to 100. But even then, that's crazy. I would struggle to get into the shop, get a coffee, and get back out again in that time. So super impressive charging, solid range as well. The entry-level one, about 480 kilometers of range. The 100 kilowatt hour car, around 615 kilometers. Now that is on the WLTC scale, but if this can do for, say, 400 kilometers, 450, and the larger battery model, 550, then I think they're doing pretty darn well. Okay, that's the outside of the 7X. Let's go have a look inside. Right, so inside the Zeekr 7X, and this is a really nice car. As a fan when I saw it in China, this is built to a really premium level. I'm sorry BYD, I'm sorry Tesla, I love you both, but you're just being beaten here when it comes to quality. This thing feels built so well, so solid. There's soft touch materials all over the place. Massive big center console makes it feel like a really solid premium vehicle, even though this is the entry level one with, relatively simple seats, that kind of stuff. Just amazing. Big center console here. You got cup holders in here, adjustable ones at that. We have a big storage thing in the arm here. Does it go both ways? Goes both ways. Plenty of space down in there. Phone chargers here. You've got some controls for some basic things like the boot, drive mode, all those kind of things there. And the screen. Now, this is a mini LED screen, so it's theoretically brighter, more durable, better than an OLED, more clear, more responsive than a standard LCD. It doesn't rotate or anything like that, but looks really good. Now, they use a really recent generation Snapdragon processor in this car, so theoretically it all moves really fast. There's no lag, no response there. And look at the stuff you've got here. You've got all the things you'd want from various other cars that some have, some don't. They all seem to be in one place. Car wash mode, pet mode, camping mode, rest mode. All pretty darn cool. Automatic parking assist, or parking assistant when you're out driving, not going to work now. Navigation over here, entering it, and it'll show us roughly where we are in Sydney. I mean, look at the definition on that once it loads. It looks pretty done. So yeah, even in the city here, when we get into Sydney, it shows, and it's a very cool system. In the city here, when we get Sydney, if you zoom in far enough, I believe we're going to get all the buildings. Well, that's helpful. It doesn't really show you the roads up, but it's pretty cool nonetheless. 360-degree cameras showing what's going on around the place as well. Look, we haven't got a huge amount of time to really look at this at any great level, but it's pretty impressive. Now, really interesting, and you can't see it on camera, I'll see if I can show it in some B-roll, is in front of me I have a huge, absolutely huge heads-up display. It's on demo mode at the moment, but that shows the car, where it's going, lanes, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, super impressive. The steering wheel, weirdly shaped, kind of flat top and bottom, but super nice in the hands, not too chunky. Real buttons on here, not capacitive. That is nice as well. It is electrically adjustable. You do have a driver attention warning thing in there, and the little screen here reminds me a little bit of a Porsche. It's very much similarly shaped to what we've seen in the Taycan. Fairly simple graphics on there, but that's what you want in front of the driver. Super handy stuff. Nice little lighting touches around the side here. The stereo, I gather, thumps. It is 21 speakers. There's a subwoofer in the boot. You have a glass roof with a blind, so you kind of get the best of both worlds. You can have a glass roof, but also have shade if you want it. Big glove box. And yeah, these seats are comfy. Heated and ventilated front and rear and upper models. I think there might be something we can talk through here as well.
Here.
Open the driver's window.
Okay, rolling down the window of driver for you.
Now, of course, this is the entry-level model, so the upper models have even more luxury, but this looks about all most people are going to need. Yeah, super, super impressive. Now, these front seats are really comfortable. Lots of length in the leg, which is great for a bigger chap like myself or taller people. And also they have heating, cooling, and a massage function. Yes, feeling very nice on my back right now. I'm going to have to leave the seat though. Let's go and have a try in the rear. Right, so the world famous Richard Big Man test. Now, this seat is in a comfortable position, me in the front. Look at how much space is back here. This car for space is absolutely crazy. And rear seat detail is something they've done incredibly well in this vehicle. You've got this big, broad rear seat. I actually think you get 3 people quite comfortably across here. You have a nice big armrest, storage in there, USB-C and USB-A chargers there. It's a nice level to sit at. Now you have a little camera over here, and that camera you can set so you can actually check on your kids in the back seat of the car. Great for safety. You've got ventilation on either side. You've got some storage down here as well. And you've also got storage under the seat. You can pull these drawers out. Great for hiding snacks or drinks or whatever it is. Now, these seats, as you can see here, can be leaned back to a comfortable level. You can leave them forward as back as well, which is nice and handy. It is electric, so you can be reclined back or leaning a little bit forward, actually like a little bit up there. Lots of headroom because this big, huge roof. This car, when you first look at it, kind of looks and tail of the tape about the same size as a Sea Lion 7 or a Tesla Model Y. But in the cabin, this thing feels so much bigger. It is genuinely, particularly in the back, a really impressive luxury car. And as I said, this is the entry level. Now, what makes that charging possible is the fact that this car has an 800-volt architecture. That also helps in the performance stakes. I'm reading off the specs here because I want to get this right. The rear-wheel drive one, 310 kilowatts and 440 newton meters. They don't give us a 0 to 100 time for that. Now, what makes that performance with the charging possible is the 800-volt platform that this vehicle sits on. So that is kind of the latest technology. Great to see that there. Now, the platform also means it has some pretty decent performance times as well when you get to the performance models. So the 3 models, the rear-wheel drive standard one, 310 kilowatts, 440 newton meters, no 0 to 100 for that. Similarly, there's a long-range rear-wheel drive with the same power output but the bigger battery. And then we have the performance, 475 kilowatts of power and 710 newton meters, 0 to 100, 3.8 seconds. Now, for a big luxury SUV, that's pretty good. Now, okay, the Tesla Model Y performance may technically beat that, but I think for the extra space and comfort and quality, this thing is still pretty crazy. And that's before we talk about the pricing. Now, the pricing launched in Australia today for Australia. 57,900 for the rear-wheel drive, 63,900 for the long-range rear-wheel drive, and 72,900 for the performance all-wheel drive. What does that mean in New Zealand? Well, if you convert that directly, it's a starting point of $62,500, maxing out at $78,700. Now, we've been hearing a couple of things about what the pricing could potentially be in New Zealand. Now, someone suggested to us these could start at $65,000. Someone else suggested they may look at going a little bit up to make it more of a premium brand over there. I think if they can squeeze this entry-level one under $70,000, that pretty much puts it line ball with a Tesla Model Y. And you know what? This offers a lot more. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget, like and subscribe, and come back soon for when we get to drive this thing properly on New Zealand roads, and that is coming fairly soon.